Hello and welcome to the back nine of round 2 of the 2024 PDGA Pro World Championships presented by Zuka. It's our final major of the year. I'm Erika Stinchcomb.
I'm Madison Walker. We're your two hockeys.
Honk.
Honk.
It's round 2 of 5. We're at Ivy Hill. If you didn't watch the front nine, there's out of bounds everywhere. There's so much pressure. There's a shuffle for the field. The top 50% will kind of get reshuffled, and it decides which courses you play the next 2 days. There's a lot on the line here. It's Worlds.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot more green on these scorecards than we were expecting here in the booth, but these ladies never fail to impress. We are watching Holyn, Handley, Mertsch, Henna, Blomroos, and Silva Saarinen kind of wrangle their way through this course.
Yeah, wrangle indeed.
Yeah, Henna making it look easy. We're getting a lot of check-ins with our chase card competitors as well. They are playing super hot.
Especially Evelina, 5 down.
Yep, Emily Weatherman, not so hot herself. Let's start with hole 10. It's a par 4. We just watched Emily play, or who did we watch? Yeah, we watched some people. We watched Emily and Evelina play this hole on the tail end of the front nine. You just want to get a really big tee shot, avoiding that bunker on the left-hand side. Don't push too straight. There's OB everywhere on both sides of the fairway. We're going to probably not have to say that every hole.
No, it's every hole.
Yeah.
If you're playing the drinking game, you are gone.
Yeah, sorry guys. The second shot is one of the most fun shots in disc golf. It is a huge downhill shot carrying a very narrow pinch point in the fairway. But most players getting across on their second.
But you got to be like far enough off the tee. You got to have a nice booming tee shot to go for it.
Or just get dummy aggressive on your second shot.
Is that your play?
Yeah, there's room.
You're a wild one.
Yeah. I like to land within 4 feet of this bunker, then go for it.
That's a big shot though near the bunker. That's pretty good. And yeah, Silva gonna find the bunker. I mean, you're throwing as far as Silva, good for you.
Wow, this played as a tie for the third most difficult hole of the day.
Yeah, some people just laying up here, not going across on the second.
Well, there was 21 OB strokes in our C pool. That's
because you're all going for it. Guess who laid up and took a par?
D pool.
Yeah.
No hate to the D pool. You guys are all very talented. It's also your
pools.
You're one hole away from sliding into D pool at any moment on these courses.
That's very true. Man, Holyn with another kind of surprising error. There's a lot of room on the right. She's going to hyzer out pretty early on the left.
It's a bummer to be in this hazard because it takes away your ability to go huge on this second shot. Silva not going to back down though.
Sending it.
That OB is pulled well off of that little boggy area that Silva just landed in. It's all the way across the cart path. She had another 15 or 20 feet to carry.
I think in instances like this, that could just be sand. It doesn't have to be an extra stroke because it takes away your run up.
I agree.
I think it would be interesting if we ever got there in disc golf. Henna looking to stack up her 5th birdie in a row. She's in position.
Yeah, in a lot of course design, we do see hazards more close to the green and not as much in the middle of the fairway. And I really like that idea. You can't go as big.
Kind of like hole 18 at the preserve.
But they probably want to avoid it because we are renting out these golf courses most of the time, and we can't have everyone just throwing as hard as they can from the sand. I guess we could.
Yeah, I mean,
disc golf is still growing. We have to remember.
Yeah.
Holyn going for it as well, working more of a hyzer line.
That looks good.
But yeah, wow. I think you're onto something there. I like that.
Thank you. I do have ideas sometimes. Silva after an OB stroke after the hazard. She's throwing 5 here, wants to put this close or throw it in.
Wow.
So close to saving a bogey. Man, she's so good at these touch shots.
Just hitting the bottom of the cage. Thankfully, sitting down. Every single green out here is sloped. You can see Kat pretty steeply down towards the basket.
Good run. This one, the guy's basket is up on this hill, and it's comical how steep it is.
There's a couple greens out here that are surprising, we'll say.
Holyn with a really great save. Kind of her second time today where she saved a really good par. She also had that amazing bogey save. Henna for 5 in a row.
Oh.
Splash is out left. No golden sombrero today, at least not yet.
A nice par from Kat. Always nice to be able to have 2 putts to get your par.
What a positive way to look at that.
Yeah. Well, on these big holes where it looks like everybody's throwing out of bounds,
Well,
there's only 7 birdies on the day today.
I agree with you, but Kat's face did not agree with you.
Yeah.
Hole 11, another downhill hole, par 3, 327 feet, reachable by anyone in the field, and actually even the mere mortals can throw mid-ranges and get there. Another one where you're throwing over hazard the whole way, hazard all the way up into those hay bales, which are maybe 10 feet from the pin, safe behind it, sand trap behind it, OB left, right, deep. No drop zone, just normal OB rules. This is a good play to try to spike something in between right after the basket and that sand trap. Or just squeak it in past the hay bales.
This is such a touchy shot. I kind of like working a hyzer over towards that big tree. If you do hit those branches, you're most likely going to drop in safe.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Holyn squeaks over as well.
Did she ramp off the hay bales?
Yeah, she definitely caught the top.
I knew Kat was going to put something way out wide.
Way out wide. There's a more safe area that way than you'd think, though, and that's fine. But a risky putt if she chooses to run it straight back at the hazard. What speed is a Tesla?
That's a 9-speed,
So
I believe.
Silva, the only one to go fairway driver. There are other competitors. Oh! Going mid-range. Look at that. That was off the band. What a cool follow flight graphic, too.
This is a Tesla?
Yeah.
Wow. A very overstable fairway driver.
It seems like she really trusts those overstable discs. And for a good reason. Wow.
So close to ringing up the 1.
Kat Mertsch, long look for birdie. She's running it. Soft run. Holyn laying up. Just gonna protect that lead. Holyn, hard to name a persona today. She's kind of just here. Kind of just
She's
doing
present for sure.
Yeah. Henna just laying up too. I bet Silva goes for it.
Oh, definitely. Fresh off a double bogey. She wants this.
Solid run. You can see the frustration. Silva seems to expect to make all putts no matter where they're from or how difficult.
There was only 5 birdies on hole 11. I mean, I know it's a difficult hole, but I was expecting to see a few more birdies on this one, but I think we see a lot of what we just saw. People just laying their, deep circle 1 and circle 2 putts up.
Difficult to park it. Holyn maintaining that lead with a par. Evelina still 5 down now through 13 holes, tied with Kat Mertsch.
Haley King 5 down in the clubhouse, tying for that hot round. Hole 12 is such a difficult hole. They added that little square of hazard over to the left-hand side just to be friendly, but it's still not friendly enough.
Friendly?
It is.
Oh, bless their hearts.
Instead of just being OB.
Yeah, you're right.
It's 491 feet, but plays more like 380 maybe to get to the pin. 390. 400. Okay, it's just the fact that you have to throw a pure hyzer the whole way. You can flex something, but you're wild if you try that. Most people gonna do this this shot right at the trees, playing that hyzer and hopefully laying down softly.
And all of our lead card, very talented players are going to make this look probably a lot easier than we're making it sound, but trust us, it is difficult.
Yeah, 15 people out of 43 in the C pool got to circle 2 in regulation. Only 15.
This is the most common mistake. Cat throwing right at it, gonna hyzer out, and actually she's in bounds. That's fantastic. You see those usually hyzer out into that hazard square.
It bubbles just a little bit there at the end, or kind of turns towards the left, a little bit more forgiving. On my card, I saw all, like 3 out of the 4 competitors just rip it into the trees. Mm-hmm. That's a very common mistake.
Common, yeah. Holyn, here's what I was talking about, where it's just a little bit kind of fluffed. Hyzer's out. She's going to be outside circle 2, but putting at it for a par from the hazard. Silva low early. I don't even know if that's going to make it to the hazard.
Yeah.
She's going to go to the drop zone.
A big misfire here.
And I will say, okay, as much as I was making fun of you for saying they gave us that hazard, this drop zone does suck to try to save your bogey. It's way better to be in the hazard. And you can see Silva going to go deep from there. I do think it's a little bit more favorable for the forehand from back there.
I think this is actually the only drop zone that I did not practice. I don't even know how far it is. What, like 220?
I also didn't practice it.
Okay.
But it looks far. Yeah, it looks hard.
This is the first tee pad that we get to walk downhill to.
Yeah. It's one of those ones, too, where you just it's easy to not realize that it's a mandatory drop zone or an optional drop zone.
As we kind of descended into these lower holes on the course, there were a lot of gnats. That's one thing I did notice out here. While you're putting, you're always brushing them out of your face. You can see them flying all around our lead card competitors.
Man, Silva's struggling on this one.
Silva going to take a triple bogey after taking a double 2 holes ago. This one, I said there was 15 players that got to circle 2 in regulation. Only 5 managed to get inside the circle. There were 7 birdies on the day today. 4 of those being circle 2 putts. That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's almost, I don't know, so many of these are like so close to being fine, but then are just like a little bit unnecessarily too difficult. But I guess it's Worlds, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah, chase card check-in again with Evelina. She's 2 holes ahead on hole 14.
Look at this green.
Yeah, this is one of the surprising greens to have on the course in general.
I know. I wish we could give... This thing has to be at like a 50 to 60 degree angle.
Yeah, I was...
when you see it.
Oh, and it's throwing it up onto this green is you're taking a risk that your disc isn't going to roll. Evelina takes the risk and it is rewarded. She stays right next to the basket.
Like, look at everyone shuffle around these stairs right now.
Yeah, I was chatting with like if there is ever going to be like an angle restriction for greens, because at what when are they just going to stick it on a wall? You know.
Hole 13, my favorite. It's a par 4, 639 feet. Technically, it's only about 280 feet to get to that left corner stake. That landing zone is pretty generous for the middle of the field. About half of the field is not going to land safe. We're not going to see that from our lead card. I'm just saying it is really hard. And then when you land safe, there's a really blocked off low ceiling right side to get there, or a really risky over out of bounds sidearm to get there. There's not going to be very many birdies on this thing.
We were lucky today. There was no wind to speak of on this hole.
We had a headwind yesterday.
So we're going to see our lead card ladies getting really aggressive. That right side where Henna's throwing is every bit of 380 to
maybe 400.
Maybe 400 feet.
And she'll actually have a chance to attack from there.
As that stake line goes to the right, it pulls away, and so it's a little bit longer. Cat picking the longest possible spot to go for it, really trying to shorten that second shot.
Classic Cat. Everyone making this look easy.
This wasn't a tie for the third most difficult hole of the day.
I thought this was going to... Yeah, you can see if you flex it too much, Holyn barely crawling OB. I did ask Statmando because I was curious. There was 12 OB strokes from the pool today and 29 yesterday. Again, we had a headwind. So that's 41 of our 89 competitors, which is 46% of the field not landing safe, having to go from the drop zone. Not a problem for our lead card, though.
Yeah, even if this was a reachable drop zone for a lot of the field, this second shot is a little bit difficult to manage. Low ceiling, high floor, uphill, an OB line really tight on the right-hand side.
Yeah, just a couple branches on that right side taken out would, I think, make it a much better hole. So you see Holyn with an aggressive tee shot. She's way up there and really doesn't have anything. But par's good on this hole.
Cat with probably one of the best looks on the second shot that we will see in the field.
But yeah, you got to push that ceiling to get a putt at it. She leaves it pretty low.
Okay, sorry, Henna with the best look.
Yeah, Henna. Well, Cat's was the best until we got here. Yeah. And you can see Henna doing, just as I said, pushing that ceiling. Pretty nice to have a backboard to run into there.
Mm-hmm. One friendly thing about this hole.
Holyn giving this a floaty little something.
Only 11 people got to circle 2 in regulation. Only one person got to circle 1 in regulation all day.
This is a hole, if you can't tell, that I thought was going to be the hardest. And it still did play very difficult. Silva for birdie. Yeah, highlight.
And Silva was... Was she in circle 1?
It looked like it, yeah.
Okay.
Henna not able to follow suit. Par's good, even though she is squatting like it's not.
Silva was the only birdie of the day. Isn't it crazy that there was only one birdie on this hole and it's still not the hardest hole of the day?
Yeah.
That just is mind-blowing.
This card playing it well, though, it's not really a very hard par if you land in bounds. Just a really difficult birdie and really difficult to land in bounds. Difficult overall. Checking back in, we got Emily Weatherman on another par 5, hole 15. Another narrow shot, multiple shot hole. Very uphill here on the final shot. She's close, but this still isn't a gimme with the elevation.
I wish there was like a more severe word for very.
Yeah.
Extremely.
Exceptionally.
Shockingly.
Ooh.
It's
impressively.
It's way up there.
It really is.
Evelina 6 down through 15, currently with the hot round of the day. Moving on to hole 14. It's 850 feet, but it's hard to bite off much on the tee shot unless you go the way the drone is flying. You can really wrap the corner a lot and bite off a lot of this fairway, but most players going to the right of that tree and just throwing more flat and perpendicular to the rest of this. The second shot, most players are not getting to the putting surface or even close. They're just throwing something in the middle. Their third is the one that they're trying to land on this
exceedingly steep green.
This shockingly steep elevated basket.
Indeed.
Lots of loose stones up there as well, so even your footing is in question.
Silva going. There's one tree there that most women I think are going outside of. You can go just inside, but you risk not coming in bounds. Just as Madison said, exactly in the same way that I said it, but Silva demonstrating it really nicely. Henna with a great shot.
There is a drop zone here because a lot of players struggle with crossing the OB line, catching a tree early, or just sawing one off.
Yeah, also there is a drop zone here just in case.
Yeah. Cat biting off a lot of the fairway here, as I struggled to say earlier. Erika, what did Cat just do here?
Oh, yeah. She bit off a really good amount there. Exceedingly good.
So this is another one where we're throwing from out of bounds. You can't quite tell from here, but there's a little creek on the short side. And then that OB line could be a lot more forgiving on the deep side. I would not be surprised if a good chunk of the distance throwers accidentally went out of bounds deep where Holyn just pushed.
Yeah, she got pretty close to it, and you can tell she wasn't trying to go nuts there. Silva with a nice smooth shot. Nothing crazy here. You don't need to get that far on this shot to be able to approach the green. It's really just the angle and the luck of staying on the green on your third.
Yeah, I'm interested in how many people are actually attacking this hole for birdie.
Ooh, come on.
Oh, no.
Holyn, it'll be pretty early.
Yeah, this is one of the first times today that you could actually feel a little bit of wind. It was a headwind on this hole and the next one.
Henna with a nice looking shot here. Yeah, I'd be interested to see. I wish there was stats for how many people went for it, or you can go directly at it, or you can kind of hang it out to the right, maybe just skip to circle 2. It's an interesting hole.
Yeah, you have to decide how close you want to try to get. At this point, the way this green is, how steep the angle of the ground is, you're pretty much always looking a roll away directly in the face. It's a lot of chance on whether or not your disc is going to stay.
Just in case. How steep did we say this was? Very?
Yeah.
Okay. Holyn calling
very, very.
Yeah. Very, very. Holyn. I don't think had a chance of crossing earlier, but that's likely going to be her lie, throwing 4 with the out-of-bounds stroke. Going to be one heck of a putt to try to save par.
Silva looking like she's lining up this green, trying to spike something in and hope it stay.
That'll be a putt.
They have some little stairs here on the short side of the basket, but they're not necessarily friendly because if you hit the cage or the band and drop, it really increases your likelihood of rolling.
Here we go.
Exhibit A.
Knew we'd see one. There's actually kind of a patch of long grass. Oh no, stop.
Wow.
Okay. Behind the pin and kind of to the left up the hill that I think is a really good place to aim. Although, did they mow it? No. Okay.
Cat trying to slide a forehand here, matching the angle of the hill. I like the play, but it seems like that is where every disc lands regardless of where you throw it.
That's true. Henna throwing. Oh, wow. You just never know what's going to happen. You got to hold your breath.
I can't decide if those rocks help with the rollaways or if they're bad for it.
Can they do both?
I know they're not good for footing, but I guess they can do both. Just like the regular ground.
Yeah. Holyn going to take a bogey. Here is Silva for a chance of birdie just outside the circle. Very uphill. No. Welcome to the circus. It just feels silly. There's no way to even lay that putt up. That's the thing. That's
why you kind of feel like, well, what the heck? I'm going to run it because even a layup could roll easily.
Mm-hmm. That one stays, but it's going to be a bogey. Good run from Kat.
Kind of having to go all arm. Your footing is not guaranteed here. You always feel like you're just slightly sliding. You can see Kat towering over the basket.
Nice clouds today.
Wow, the wind is opposite of what it feels like further down the fairway. That's so strange. There were 9 birdies on hole 14 today. 20 people getting to circle 1 in regulation. Whoa, that's surprising. Nice work, everybody.
Classic hole 14.
You can see everyone kind of cooling off a little bit through these last few holes. That corner is brutal.
Holyn, for the first time this tournament, sharing the lead with Evelina Saarinen, not in solo control anymore. Hole 15 is a reachable par 5, 617 feet. Steeply uphill, though. I like a sidearm off the tee, but you can turn or flex something if you'd like. Second shot, if you can get up to this flat spot here, you are sitting pretty. Easier said than done. As always, OB, left, right, everywhere. Wraps in pretty tight on that short right corner, and then a lot of trees on the green and another sloped green with so many obstructions. This one I like, gettable by everyone in the field. I think the tee shot, though, really going to dictate what you can do. That's great. Nothing crazy. Looks like she disked down just to stay in the middle. I think that's a really smart play.
Kat pulling out the sidearm again. Just want to make sure it lays down. That OB comes up quick on the right side.
Oh, she's going to find OB.
Silva keeping it nice and low. Pretty little turnover shot.
Silva always looks like she's in the middle of a deep sigh. Holyn going sidearm, pushing that left side cart path, which is a really great play. She's in a nice position there.
What a silly, silly fool.
Kat looking to just keep this one in bounds.
Ooh, I think it's good, but okay, yeah. I was gonna say there's enough hill there to you never quite know. Great distance there. Silva going standstill. I think that's smart. This footing can be pretty treacherous, and you don't need a ton of distance here. Ideally, you're just getting to the top of that hill. That's perfect. I guess 1 or 2 more feet would have been nice so she could have a little run up. But she doesn't really need it with those standstills.
Holyn way down here. There's enough room where she can go big if she wants to here.
Medium big, looks like.
Blows by the second little flat area, trying to get up to the final one.
Henna even farther. You can see some awkward footing there on the hill. Get some good power here. They're both way up there.
This is so far uphill. Ooh, Silva kind of turning this one over. She's going to find OB again.
Yeah, they really brought that last right corner in. Kat with a really nice sidearm. Wow.
What?
I wish that stuck. That was cool.
What a way to approach the green here.
Sweet shot. Happy that it stayed. And a great par save with a fairly early out of bounds drive. Holyn almost able to give it a run for eagle, leaving it short for a birdie bit though.
Yeah, doesn't want to mess with those trees.
Yeah, going outside. Henna in a similar position. These are the best shots I've seen by far.
Yeah, the cart path that's just behind the basket is not out of bounds.
Silva with that out of bounds throwing 5. Oh, gives it a run. Sit down. She is getting absolutely hammered. At least that one. Oh, it is out of bounds. Man, 2 in a row. Now putting for double. Man, it's so hard to mentally stay strong when it just feels like the course is wrecking you and it's not wrecking anybody else.
A nice birdie from Holyn Handley. There were 20 birdies today and 1 eagle.
Ooh.
Haiti Line.
Haiti won the distance competition, right, as well?
Yep.
Congrats
what was
to
it,
her.
500 and
I want to say like
640 something?
500 and something for sure.
It was over 500, which...
It was over 520.
So, wow.
522, but you know, it doesn't matter. She won.
I want to throw a disc and it go 500.
Maybe someday.
Maybe someday.
That's why you just gotta keep believing.
In the meantime, we're playing hole 16, 731 feet, but you can't bite off a lot here because most players going to lay up to this OB line.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a safe landing zone. That's the OB line short. All that gray area is out of bounds. Your second shot carrying that area and ideally landing close to this basket, but it is very hard to get over there because there's out of bounds on the right-hand side that comes into play pretty quickly and some low-hanging branches. So off the tee, the goal is just to land as far left as possible and open up that second shot, but not too far left because you don't want to have to throw a distance driver ideally.
Henna kind of bailing a little earlier than you'd like. She has enough distance where clearing that out of bounds area probably won't be a problem, but most of the middle of the field trying to get a little bit closer to that out of bounds line. Is anyone actually going for this?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. The MPO does.
I really like the forehand play here. Holyn really getting close to that OB line, but I think that's the better play. I think a lot of players, though, wanting to push a little straighter, be a little bit more left, but Holyn honestly could go forehand here.
She could. Cat with a backhand, also taking some off with that same metal flake J that she threw on hole 7. Silva with more of a linear route. I used to like this play because you can get to the edge of the landing zone really easily, but you could also just not come in bounds or go deep.
Yeah, Silva overthrowing this one by a good chunk.
Yeah, sawing it off is definitely the better play.
Bounds on off your tee. Do you? Yeah, I don't really know. The spotter says you didn't. Yeah. So, and we don't have a better off. So it's a re-tee, yeah.
Yeah, this tee
and that's why I don't like it anymore.
Yeah, this
tee shot.
This tee shot is blind, so from behind even from the front of the tee pad, you just can't see those furthest right OB stakes. You can see Silva going way more left this time.
Henna, you see how short she is? This is quite a carry to get across. It looks like she's got all the power she needs, though. And then some.
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
Really difficult to get your disc to turn and go towards that basket.
Silva throwing 4 with the OB. A lot of work here left to do. And plenty of power to get across. Probably circle 2 territory. Pretty long putt to try to save a bogey.
That's
typical.
Yeah. Wow. Only 14 people got to circle 2 in regulation.
Yeah, I would have guessed a little bit more.
Me too.
Cat putting some really nice turn on this, going right at the pin before it fades. And yeah, you can see these are some of our farthest throwers, and they're not even finding circle 1. See if Holyn can do it. She's literally in the best place you could be distance-wise. Again, as Madison said, maybe a bit more left for this reason.
And she way early releases this There's thankfully room to work over there, but she's even close to that OB line, way on the left-hand side.
And Holyn would be an anomaly in our heat map here. Just an outlier, you know.
She's in the blue territory.
Yeah, cold spot over here.
Oh, man.
Silva all over it from distance. Gonna be a double.
Only 4 people got to circle 1 in regulation.
Cat Mertsch trying to break that string of gray she's in. String of gray, not a bad thing at Ivy Hill. Not a great thing, though, if you're trying to win this thing.
Wow, even Henna in circle 2.
What a putt.
Drano. Henna's putt, I want to like call him more like a swoosh.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I feel that.
There were 7 birdies today. And I would be willing to bet most of them were long putts after seeing only 4 people in circle 1. That is blowing my mind. It is far, but I didn't give it enough credit on how far it truly is.
Give it some credit. Don't worry, people. We're almost there.
Just one more gigantic hill to walk up.
Yeah, but here, we got this nice little downhill.
Yeah, first.
Hole 17, par 3, 366 feet. Almost everybody's laying up short here because if you miss, you're going from that drop zone we just passed. And there's OB, 20 feet behind it. So it's not that hard to get to the pin, and it's just hard to stay safe. It's a very small island. I haven't seen anyone go for it personally.
Elizra Mittling on my card today went for it.
Henna really pulling this?
Yeah.
Is that I guess she can just go to the drop zone, though.
I think that is what she has to do.
I think any OB, it's mandatory drop zone on this one. Holyn with a much spikier angle.
Yeah, either the drop zone or a re-tee. So Henna from the drop zone.
Haven't seen this much, but nothing wrong with this play. Little forehand.
This is my play.
Oh, is it?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. We practiced together. Is it because you shorted all your backhands?
Yep.
I think Kat is about an inch in bounds. Don't cheer for me. She's like, no. All right, our lead card making that layup look a little harder than it is.
Yeah. It's like, this is so
like
weird.
The one that's like kind of easy.
Yeah, you're not even thinking.
Yeah. This next shot, not the easiest.
No, the OB comes up really close behind the basket deep.
I guess we've been throwing drives as hard as we can all day with no touch. So to have a touchy up shot, okay.
Wild animal crosses the fairway.
Pretty looking shot from Holyn. Oh, ooh, crawls inbounds. I like this little turning shot. Man, she's still trying to ring it up.
Yeah, she's a genius with this distance. She pulls her eyes more than anyone does on these little approaches, too.
Mm-hmm. Henna from the drop zone. Henna having the cleanest round out of anyone except for that very first hole. I think this is the first bogey we've seen her take since hole 1.
Nice little tester putt from Holyn to get that par. Honestly surprised Holyn doesn't go for this one. And Kat, they seem like holes that they would run at.
I just think that shows how not worth it is.
True. So high risk. This plate is the second most difficult hole of the day. Because this is a par 3, there are just not many birdies.
Henna missing short putt. Yeah, I think if the OB line was up on that hill a little bit, I don't know if that's private property though, we'd see more people go for it.
The 3 birdies went to Sarah Hokum, Hannah Wynn, and Haley King.
Cool.
All from circle 1, so they all went for it. Wow.
Neat.
Cool. I wonder if, looks like Hokum found a really nice forehand line. I wonder if there is more of a forehand line because that willow on the right.
Yeah, like if she goes around that tree right there.
Yeah, a little distance forehand, a little safer to run at it.
I could see it.
Yep.
Holyn still leading the way, 1 under on the day. Cat Mertsch hanging on to that tie for second at 2 down through 17.
And let's wrap things up with hole 18, a par 5 to end the day off. It says 814, but it plays more like 1600.
I was going to say 12 at least, yeah.
It's a very small landing zone if you're trying to land on the short side of the creek. But some players are going huge and trying to push all the way up to the creek. Your second shot, you want to get ideally up on one of the flat landing zones that are the golf course's teeing surfaces. There's an OB line all the way down the right side that's really difficult to attack this hole without pushing it all the way up the fairway. Your final couple of shots are so steeply uphill that it's doesn't feel like you're playing disc golf anymore. It feels like you're doing an MTA.
Holyn going huge. The middle of the field landing on the other side of that cart path on the right side. Shorter. Pretty impressive distance. Cat really pulling this one. I don't know.
Thankfully, you don't have to cross to that little grassy area. The grass all on the short side is also inbound, so she did cross a little further back than you want. But this is one of the holes where, thankfully, we are not necessarily teeing off from out of bounds.
Ooh. Silva biting down nicely, getting some good distance there. You can see why a lot of the field chooses to go farther to the right and not risk pushing that OB like Silva did, but she is going to be rewarded for that distance. This might be in danger from Henna.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, OB. And as Madison said, we're teeing from an inbounds area, so she'll be able to progress a good ways.
I actually just looked. We are not inbounds, but it's like right by it.
Yeah, right next to it.
It's close.
Short of the creek.
It's not
inbounds.
one where we're having a huge carry, thankfully.
Yeah.
Cat turning
doing some stuff.
Yeah, turning this over, getting a little cut roll action. Looks like she's celebrating. Stay with her, folks.
I will stay with her forever. I would pay good money for a mic'd up round.
Me too. Silva's second shot. Here's where she's getting rewarded, like Erika said, getting way up here. It's going to make her last 2 shots a lot less stressful than someone who does not make it up past that little flat area.
Henna from down this hill. Wow, getting amazing distance. That's so powerful. I feel empowered.
That's really an unbelievable shot.
She's so far downhill. It's amazing.
I just almost fell out of my chair.
She did. I can attest. Holyn putting some good height on this one as well. And Henna got even farther than her. That's the thing.
That was so impressive. This is where I threw the shot from, and I did not get to that shadowy tree. So.
Yeah.
Go Henna.
So Cat Mertsch carrying some OB to get to that spot. That was well done. It's really pinched over there. Don't worry, Cat. We're going to get you a sandwich real soon. Henna's third. One of the
Silva.
few to actually be able to attack here. Wow.
Getting there in 3 is insane.
Yeah.
This played as a tie for the 3rd most difficult hole of the day. Lots of OB, and this uphill is a lot more difficult than Holyn, Silva, and Henna are making it look.
Very.
15 people got to circle 2 in regulation. Only 10 got to circle 1. Cat with the OB stroke up there on the putting surface.
Bogey after a long stretch of pars. Not a bad round out here, but probably not what she was looking for.
I think that this is one of those courses. We had the D pool that played yesterday, so we were able to compare scores just a little bit, but This is just such a new course that I think everyone's just kind of hoping. They have their number in mind, but they're just kind of hoping. There's not a real concrete expectation here. Silva not quite able to capitalize on that birdie.
Henna not able to get the par either. Her putt looked great all day just until the very end here.
Like Kat said, everyone's hungry now. Yeah. Everyone is exhausted. I think this is the most physically exhausting course we play all year.
Yeah, it's Worlds, baby. Kat finishing with a bogey. I believe, did she finish 1 under on the day? Yeah. Sounds right. We'll check in. We don't have to math.
Do you think this course is hillier than Deklo?
Ooh, comparable for sure. I would love to know the elevation changes.
My guess is this one's hillier, but
it feels.
I think it's significantly hillier, honestly.
It feels, steeper anyway.
Yes.
Like the angles that you're walking up and down.
And the hills are a little longer. There's less of them, but they're longer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, all probable statistics for sure.
That's what you get here in the booth with the 2 hot geese.
Yep. Holyn wrapping it up with a birdie to move to 2 down and maintain the solo lead. Let's see here. Yeah, Kat with a good front 9 and not a bad back 9. She'll stay on lead card. Evelina Sullivan jumping into solo second with that 5 down hot round, and Emily Weatherman also joining us tomorrow with that 3 down in solo fourth.
Yeah, we're going back to the Sea Pool's going back to New London Tech tomorrow. Back in the woods. Another sunny day in the forecast. And before we return to our last 2 rounds of the week at Ivy Hill. So we're really just going to soak it up.
Yeah.
Really try to enjoy ourselves.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yep. Really quickly, we have one very special person we want to call out right now. They're at the top of the list at the Founders Club. Samuel Sargent. Look at that. Triple digits. 100 months he's supporting Jomez Patreon.
Woo. And we support you verbally right now.
Yeah, when we read this, we were in disbelief. It is unreal. And all you other names, you guys are important too. But Sammy Sargent, come on.
Come on.
Okay, well, we'll see you guys for round 3 at New London Tech. I'm Madison Walker.
I'm Erika Stinchcomb. We love you, honk.
Honk.